back to the Whirlwinds podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Evans, Senior Manager of Digital Marketing here at WTCI. Today, I am joined by the VP of Global Government Affairs at Tenable, Jill Shapiro. Hi, Jill.
Hi, Michelle. Great to be with you today.
We are so happy that Tenable is able to do this. As a WTCI member company, we are very happy to welcome you to the show. So let's start by giving our listeners a little bit of background about Tenable and what you guys do.
Sure. Tenable is the exposure management company. We're headquartered in Columbia, Maryland, and we help organizations identify cybersecurity vulnerabilities and exposures. We also help them assess which are most likely to be exploited and cause the greatest risk to the organization.
Okay, that's cool. We actually just did an AI, not an AI, an agile session about cybersecurity, and we were talking about these things. Um, Tenable, they operate in a pretty crowded cybersecurity landscape. From your perspective, what fundamentally differentiates Tenable's approach to exposure management from other cybersecurity companies? Like, what's your unique edge?
Great question. For years, the industry focused on counting cybersecurity vulnerabilities in traditional IT, like desktops and servers, with no context for which vulnerabilities actually posed a risk to the organization's network. Tenable provides organizations with visibility across the entire modern attack surface. So, yes, traditional IT, but also vulnerabilities and exposures in the cloud, operational technology or OT, IoT, identity, web apps, and even AI. And that allows organizations to move from technical noise, lots of vulnerabilities, no way to deal with them all, to decision clarity. So we help leaders focus on the issues most likely to lead to real business disruption rather than just trying to fix everything at once.
Yeah. So as the threat landscape basically continues to shift, where does Tenable see the greatest opportunities for growth and innovation over the next several years?
Yeah, great question. Tenable sees the greatest opportunity for growth is the ability for organizations to unify their risk across their entire modern attack surface, what I mentioned previously. Being able to see exposures across, again, IT, OT, IoT, cloud, identity, AI in a single coherent view that enables better, faster decision making. We also think innovation will be defined by how effectively organizations can govern and reduce exposure, and that progress really depends on collaboration with industry, government, and standards bodies to establish best practices and strengthen collective cyber resilience.
So Maryland has long been a hub for cybersecurity, not just because of the proximity to the federal agencies that you mentioned with the government, like NSA, but how has the state's ecosystem, talent pool, public-private support helped sustain and accelerate this industry's growth?
We really think Maryland's strength comes from mission-driven culture. Cybersecurity here is not theoretical. It's tied directly, as you mentioned, to national security, resilience, and public trust. We are really proud to be headquartered in Columbia, Maryland, and to be part of an ecosystem that treats cyber as a strategic imperative, not
Yeah.
just a technical function. And just need to say that that culture is reinforced by active, hands-on collaboration between state leadership and industry. Governor Wes Moore is a tremendous leader prioritizing innovation and resilience, as
Yeah.
well as Secretary of Commerce Harry Coker, who elevates cyber as both a core security mission and a catalyst for economic growth. So, from my perspective, our leadership is ensuring policy, talent development, and private sector needs in the cyber ecosystem move in lockstep.
So based back to the government, beyond securing their own systems, what role should the federal government play in strengthening the private sector cybersecurity, particularly for like critical infrastructure and essential services?
Yeah, we think it's really important that the federal government provide clear, risk based guidance that incorporates recognized standards like the NIST cybersecurity framework,
Yep.
and also factors in ongoing innovation. Tenable actively works with Congress and the White House to advance cyber legislation and regulations that promote best practices for what we've been talking about, expanding
Mm-hmm.
visibility, prioritization, as well as resilience across essential services, especially critical infrastructure. And we really think equally important is sustaining public private collaboration through
Yeah.
efforts like CISA's Joint Cyber Defense Collaborative or JCDC, the IT Sector Coordinating Council, and NIST National Cybersecurity Center of Excellence, better known as NCCOE. We can ensure industry, regulators, and operators are aligned around shared risk, faster recovery, and long term national cyber resilience.
So I mentioned our Agile session that we had, was it 2 weeks ago, on cybersecurity in a world where reality can be faked. And, with all this advancements with AI, the deep fakes to like automated attacks, it's basically reshaping how we look at cybersecurity. How is Tenable seeing AI transformation, like they're basically transforming cyber risks? And what should organizations do to defend against these types of threats? And how is Tenable incorporating AI responsibly into your own products and services?
Tenable incorporates AI into its solutions to improve visibility and risk prioritization across complex environments. And our platform solution, Tenable One, helps organizations discover AI across internal and external systems, whether they're on prem, in the cloud, and we can provide a risk aware view of how AI connects to infrastructure, identities, agents, and data. And then, as previously mentioned, we can correlate these relationships into a single view to help security teams focus on the exposures that matter most. I would add that we incorporate AI responsibly by emphasizing transparency, governance, and alignment with security best practices in terms of how AI is developed and deployed, and ensuring its use reduces risk rather than introduces new vulnerabilities.
Hmm. Sort of like using the tool to fight against the tool.
Well said. Exactly right.
So we've seen a large rise in these like large scale outages across cloud providers and digital services. How should we interpret these incidents? Are they operational issues, cybersecurity concerns, or is it a sign of a broader systemic fragility in the digital infrastructure?
Yeah. From our perspective, whether they're caused by human error, technical error, malicious activity, any and all of the above, these incidents underscore how interconnected our digital ecosystem has become and how quickly disruptions can cascade across sectors. From our perspective, the most important takeaway is the opportunity to strengthen resilience by taking proactive measures, investing in prevention, coordination, and recovery so organizations can respond effectively and maintain trust even when disruptions occur. We know these attackers are going to keep trying. Are we ready for them? And are we ready to respond quickly?
Yes, they are very persistent. Here at our organization, we always get the random text messages from Eddie Resende asking us for random tasks, and it's just, have to stay vigilant.
We do too. Folks posing as executives asking for gift cards. It's
Yeah,
and remarkable.
it's insane. Like I said, they are very persistent. How resilient is our broader internet infrastructure? You mentioned how interconnected everything is with the
Yeah.
cloud and the network environments. Could a coordinated cyber attack on providers realistically cause widespread or long lasting disruption?
Uh, at a macro level, the internet remains resilient,
Yeah.
but it's increasingly uneven.
Mm-hmm.
One issue is there's a real concentration among a small number of cloud identity and network providers, creating shared points of exposure that didn't exist a decade ago. So A coordinated attack could cause widespread disruption, but whether it becomes long lasting really depends on how well organizations understand those dependencies and how prepared they are for response and recovery.
Yeah, preparedness seems to be the key.
Prevention, preparedness, get the basics right.
Yeah, and Tenable is well known for vulnerability management. But say an organization is facing thousands of potential vulnerabilities, how should they think about prioritizing it, especially when it's pretty impossible to fix everything at once?
Yeah. The reality is that no organization can fix everything. Attempting to do so is likely impossible and spreads teams too thin. What we really have always focused on is helping organizations focus on the exposures most likely to be exploited and most likely to disrupt their operations, as well as their safety and trust. So, effective prioritization is a governance decision that brings together visibility across the attack surface, threat likelihood, asset criticality, and business impact. So then remediation efforts are directed where they meaningfully reduce overall cyber exposure.
Okay. So, what is one question that organizations should be asking about cybersecurity today, but they usually don't?
Yeah, the core question from our perspective is, do you have a unified real-time map of your entire attack surface that allows you to identify and remediate exposures most likely to disrupt critical business functions? A line that you've likely heard and others have heard is, you cannot protect what you can't see. You got to have that visibility. You have to know what's most likely to disrupt your organization, and you have to go after those vulnerabilities and remediate them first.
Hmm. This has been so insightful. It has. Thank you, Joe, for joining and chatting with me today. If our listeners want to know more about Tenable or connect with you, where should they go?
You can always go to our website at tenable.com, or feel free to link in with me and I'd be happy to continue the conversation. Thank you so much,
Awesome.
Michelle. This was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. And thank you all for listening. For more information on WTCI events, insights, and member news, visit WTCI.org and be sure to follow us on all social channels at WTC Institute. And we'll see you next time.